Alright, things are starting to look better. If you've stepped out in the recent past, then you'll notice that things are getting back to normal, slowly but surely. Thankfully, COVID-19 cases have been dropping, and what that means is ahead of the festive season, the auto sector is gearing up with a lot of launches. Perhaps you're on the lookout for a vehicle for yourself. Well, this conversation is likely going to help you make that choice then. I'm joined by Renuka Kirpalani of Autocar. Thank you so much, Renuka, for taking the time. And I want to focus this conversation on SUVs, which I think is and continues to be the sector and the segment of the auto industry that everyone's cued in on. I think the coolest launch in the recent past was the XUV700. And let's start with that then. Is it the best XUV that has been launched since 2011, according to you?
Yeah, Alex, thanks so much for having me here. Absolutely right. SUV is the space that's hotting up. And, while the XUV was launched, if you see the past few launches, they've all been SUVs. So it tells, where the market is going, where the manufacturers want to be, what the consumers are looking for as well. You're very right. The XUV700, which was recently revealed, it's not launched yet, but they kind of had a reveal and test drives of it, is it's a great product. It's leaps ahead of the XUV. So in that sense, if you're asking me, is it the best XUV yet? Most definitely. It has a lot of segment first features. So it's kind of redefining where the segment is going. It's shaking things up. And I think, it is one to definitely look forward to.
There are now such a host of options in the various subcategories of the SUV space also, right? You have compact, you have mid-segment, you have full-size SUVs. And particularly, I think the new kid on the block, relatively speaking, Kia, has really taken the market by storm, right? So what, according to you, are the best picks from each of those segments for somebody going out shopping in the festive season?
There's so many segments, and those segments are also getting sub-segmented now. If you look at the compact SUV spaces, I would definitely say, the Kia Sonnet, really one to look forward to. And now you have, the likes of the Taygun and the Kushaq as well, vying for space over there. So those, are really the interesting three in that segment. Once you come up to the mid-size segment, is a big player over there with their Seltos. You have the Hyundai Creta, which is its sibling, which is also a really exceptional product as well. So those two are the strong ones in the mid. But if you go one segment higher than the mid, which is really the space between the middle and the large size, full size SUVs, you have the Tata Safari, the XUV700, which you have spoken about, and you also have the MG Hector. So that space also is very, very interesting. And then moving, the old favorites, the Toyota Fortuner and the Ford Index in the full size SUV space. And of course, then you go, then the world's your oyster, because you have the luxury SUVs, and it just goes on. There's a whole range of.
Yeah, absolutely. And the luxury XUVs, SUVs, there are so many to pick from as well. But speaking about the ones that are made here, and you've named quite a few, there are also a lot of issues, especially on the top end, Renuka, when it comes to this semiconductor issue that the industry as a whole has been facing. The delays, I think, that a lot of customers are facing go into several months now. So from that perspective, what does one have to bear in mind, especially if you're going out shopping for the festive season?
Well, be to not get your car in time for Diwali, because most of these products that I'm talking about are on waiting lists anywhere between 6 to 9 months. So this is going to continue, and I don't see it, getting alleviated very, very quickly in the future. But in saying that, I think Mahindra know, and especially after the success of their cars have kind of backed up, they know that there's going to be demand for the product. So I think they've prepared in advance. So, the first few bookings should get their cars pretty fast. But still, there is waiting on Kia, waiting on Hyundai, all kinds of the Kushaq Skoda said they'd only be giving a certain amount of cars, I think around 3,500 in the first installment. So the semiconductor issue is everywhere, and it doesn't look like a quick insight to this problem.
Okay. Now, I do want to take this opportunity to ask you about electric as well, because you have the Nexon, and you have also the MG ZS, which I think a lot of people that I've spoken to have been quite thrilled with, particularly the MG ZS. What do you have to say about that option, the electric option? Is it good enough to consider?
Yes, there's so many more. Not just those, you have, like you said, the ZS, you have the Tata Nexon, and those are the more affordable ones, but you also have the Hyundai Kona. And then, of course, you have the luxury one. I mean, we've just heard announced their e-tron, Mercedes has the EQC, Jaguar has their I-Pace. So, yeah, everybody is into the EV space, and you get one almost in every price bracket just now. But yeah, the reachable ones, I think the ones which most consumers can access are probably the ZS and the Nexon. Both really good products. The Nexon EV, I think, is one of Tata's nicest products as well. The ZS offers you, a host of features, and it also is the one that's really done the best on range whenever I tested it. So, it's the closest to its actual advertised range is got in the real world on the ZS EV. So, in that sense, it is really a good buy. And of course, there's always those savings, especially with the way fuel prices are rocketing at this moment. It's really very, very economical to run an EV.
Oh, absolutely. And it's a complete CBU, right? The ZS, and which is why the specifications are very similar to what you would find in other geographies.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, all of the MG cars are packed to the gills. They're giving you everything you give anywhere else in the world. So I think that's something. And I wouldn't even just MG. I think a lot of manufacturers are now realizing the Indian consumer wants everything. And, if you see the recent XUV700 itself that we're talking about as well, you've got features like, the advanced driver assistance systems like ADAS, which you only see in segments above, now coming into the XUV700. So, yeah, all manufacturers are realizing we've got to, offer much more to the Indian consumer.
And what a change it has been over the last decade. Pleasure talking to you, Renuka. I know I can go on forever talking about auto, but absolute pleasure. And I hope this conversation has helped people make up their mind when it comes to buying at the festive season. That's where we leave it off. Thank you so much for joining in.
Thanks, Alex. Thanks so much.